Let's get started. After logging on to Windows XP with a Windows Local Administrator account, go to the directory where you downloaded the DB2 Express-C image and extract the zip file. I will extract it to the same directory. After the extraction is completed, go to the EXPC directory, then the image directory, and double-click on setup.exe. It takes a few seconds for the DB2 Setup Launchpad to start. Now click on Install a Product. If this is your first DB2 installation, you will only see a button that says Install New. If you had installed the DB2 product before, you will also see one more button called Work with Existing. This is because DB2 allows you to have multiple installations or copies of the product on one machine. Let's click on Install New, and then the DB2 Setup wizard will start up. The DB2 Setup wizard will take a few seconds to come up. Once it comes up, you need to wait until the button Next is available. We will choose all the defaults during the installation process. Let's click Next. In the Software License Agreement panel, review the license agreement and then click on I accept the terms in the license agreement and click on Next. For the installation type, choose the default of Typical and click on Next. On this other panel, choose the default to install DB2 Express-C on this computer and save my settings in a response file. Saving the responses to a file allows you to perform a silent installation in the future. This is convenient when you need to install DB2 on many computers and you don't want to manually select DB2 installation options on each computer. Click Next. For the installation folder, we will choose the default. Click Next. Now you need to set up a user information for the DB2 administration server. The DB2 administration server is required for using DB2 tools. You have two choices. 1. Local user or domain user account, which is the default, or 2. Local system account. If you plan to share resources from this machine to another machine, the general recommendation is to use option 1, local user or domain user account. If you don't plan to share resources, then you can choose option 2, local system account. Let's choose the default and then continue with the other fields. For the domain field, let's leave the default since we are not connected right now to a domain. Then for the username, you can use an existing Windows account. This Windows user must be part of a local administrator group in Windows. If the user does not exist, DB2 will create it, and it will be created as a Windows local administrator. The default user provided is DB2admin, but we suggest you to change it. So in our case, we will use admin123 and we will put a password for this and confirm the password. Leave the checkbox at the bottom checked so that Windows services created for DB2 also use the same user ID to start and stop the service. Click Next. In the Configure DB2 Instances panel, leave the default and click Next. Finally, you will see a summary of what will be installed. You can scroll down to see everything that has been selected, and if you are satisfied, you can click Finish to continue with the installation process. Otherwise, click on Back and fix whatever was not to your satisfaction. We will click Finish. After a few minutes, DB2 Express-C should have been successfully installed in your system. When the setup is complete, you can review the post-install steps and then click on Finish. At the end of the installation, your browser should automatically come up and start the DB2 First Steps tool, which is discussed on another video.